Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Kushner, and we're going to go ahead and move forward with our design unit, and we're going to go ahead and start with Spark Post. We're going to go ahead and move forward and think about what you'd like to design. It could be a shirt, it could be a headband, you can make a sticker, and there's lots of different ways to start this. So let's get started with what we're comfortable. If you go to the plus sign, just like before, we're going to click solid color. And I'm going to go ahead and just click white for now. And then I'm going to click next. And for now, I'm just going to go ahead and pick custom for my size. And instead of pixels, I'm going to go with inches. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and make the size of my logo 8.5 inches. And the height is going to be 11 inches. And that way I'm designing it so that it's the right size when we go to cut it out. And I can click done. Now, before we worked with text, so I could double click this, and some of you might want to write a message on the front of your shirt. So I could write something like smile. I could pick any color. So if I click on this here, I want my vinyl to be purple, or I want my vinyl to be red. So that would be an example of where you're just working with vinyl and you have one color and we iron it on. Now, certainly you could go to the shape button and you can get rid of the shape, and now the letters would actually just be cut out red. And if you wanted to do other colors, for instance, you could have each letter be a different color. And I could click on that, and I could say duplicate, and that would make the exact same size and font and style, and I could change it. And if I'm writing smile, I could either make it uppercase or lowercase. And instead of making it red, perhaps I would change the color of that. And this time, let's say I wanted to make it purple, right? So I could write the word smile with different colors of vinyl. The plus button on the bottom, and I click add. Instead of working just with text, and again, I could change my font, make it how I want it to look with shapes, but I could also go ahead and add an icon. And an icon is a picture, but you'll notice that it's graphically done, so that if we were going to cut this out, we would be cutting out shapes. Okay, so let's say I wanted to have a rainbow here. I did like rainbow colors with the word smile. Let's see what comes up for rainbow. So these are all very graphic symbols, and you notice they're all black. If you want to change the colors of these, you can. I would pick something a little bit simpler, though. You don't want to have a lot of tiny, complex details. You want to make something kind of graphic. So if I just want to represent the idea of a rainbow, I'm going to pick this one. And maybe I put my rainbow above it like that. Right now, this rainbow can only be one color. Okay, but what I'm going to actually have you do is we're going to design two versions of this. So version 1, I'm actually going to have you just make black and white, because this is the file that I'm actually going to need when I take it into the software to create it. So if you say, this is my logo right here, smile, you could be complete. And then what you're going to do is go ahead and save that. Let's say that's my logo. I like the way it looks. I go up to the box with the arrow and I save it as solid color. And I'm going to go ahead and click save image. You notice that my background is white and my logo is black. Save. Okay. And then the second thing that we're going to do is actually play with color here. So if we wanted to go back and get my colors back, I'm just going to my back button on the top left. So I think what I'm going to do, just to show you, if I wanted to like recolor it, I can't just like paint bucket. It doesn't work like that. So I can go ahead and save it as a solid color and save the image. And what you might want to do from here, if you want to do, and this is another good idea, if you don't want a graphic look and you want to do something that's a little more painterly, you can go into an app like Sketchbook, and that does not require a login. And I'm going to go up to my top left here to my gallery, and I'll say this is a sketch I was doing with the 6th grade. And I'll get a window like this. If I go to the plus on the bottom and I say new sketch, and I'm going to stick with these measurements. These are actually a little bit larger than what we need, which is fine. 3300 by 5100. and I say create, and that's in pixels. And then what I can do, you notice I just have like a white background. I can go up to the top, and I'm gonna slide my tools over. You notice how they slide at the top like that. And I'm holding my iPad up and down, so that's important. And I'm gonna click the one that looks like a picture with a plus. If I press that, I can import image. And now I can go over here to my camera roll. And I could do this two ways. I'm gonna grab my color one, or I could grab my black and white one. It's up to you. Here's my color one, because I actually like the red, purple, green, orange, yellow. So it's saying I can tap to drag it. Now, this is where you can start thinking about how it's going to look on top of another item. And we can do this in Spark too, I'll show you. But if I wanted this to be like the center of a shirt, I might want it to be pretty big. And I'm going to actually show what it will look like on the shirt. If I wanted it to be just like in the corner of the shirt, like the lapel, then I might want to shrink it and make it smaller. Okay, so those are some things that you can think about for layout. But I'm going to pinch it right now. And I'm just going to make it kind of a medium size because I want to actually be able to see the details. And I'm going to click done. And you notice that it comes up on its own layer over here. And then what we can do, just to show you some of our tools over here, this is a selection tool on the top. It looks like a dotted line with an arrow in it. And I'm going to go ahead and click this magic. And you see if I click on that red at the top, it selects it. So I could change the color right there, right? So what I could do is go ahead and I'll just grab a paintbrush. And actually, I'm going to be honest, I prefer this pen right here. If you hold it down, you can go ahead and select. And I can go ahead and pick the color I want. So let's say I want to match that color. I could actually click here and click on this eyedropper tool, and actually, let's try it again. I should be able to click on the eyedropper, and it's going to give me this. So you can see I can match exactly. I want that purple, I want that green, I want that orange. So actually, let's say I pick that orange. Now what I can do, I'm going to get a huge brush so that it's thick, and now it's really easy for me just with my finger. And I'm going to select the inside here, and then I'm going to go back to my color on the side and click my eyedropper, and let's say I'm going to go with my green, okay? And again, I'm going to just go ahead and color that in, okay? So you can play with the colors however you want, and think about what kind of logo that you want to create, something that's meaningful to you, that expresses who you are, and think about the purpose of what you're going to use it for. And now I'm all done. So now that I've got that logo, I'm going to go ahead and save the logo here. And I can do that by going to the top left to this little white paper. It looks like a list. And then I'm going to say share. And now this is going to go to my camera roll if I click save image. So now I've saved that. And then the last thing that I want to do, so you've created the black and white logo. You've created how you want it to look in color. The last thing is to actually put it on the object that you want to put it on. So let's say I wanted to put this on a shirt. The website that I use to order shirts is called Jiffy Shirts. So you could just type in Jiffy Shirts. And what I'm able to do for you is just get you a t-shirt. Okay, so you can pick a color of t-shirt. I'm just going to pick the cheapest one from the top up here. And you can pick any color you want. You'll give me your size later. You see if I click here, it'll give me any color that I want. So let's say I'm going to take this design, I'm going to put it on charcoal heather. You see I've got this. What I'm going to do right now is actually just take a screenshot by pressing my power button and my home button. And you hear that it took a picture. When I click on it, I'm going to drag my top and the sides so that I'm isolating just the shirt. Because what I'm actually going to do is put the logo on the shirt. I can click done and it saves it. I'll say save to photos. So that's going to my camera roll. Now, you could do this in Sketchbook or Spark. I'll just show you in Sketchbook. We're already there. Now I can go back up to the top and I can grab this picture with the plus in it. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring in the shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my photo and click on the shirt. and I can go ahead and pinch it to make it as big as I want it, and I want to keep it really straight. Okay, then I can go ahead and click done, and I'm gonna hold down that layer with a shirt and put it underneath my logo. Now the problem here, you see my logo has a white background, so I'm gonna have to go back up to the top, and again, you'll get used to these tools. I'm gonna click on this same tool that I had before. It looks like a magic wand, and I can click on the white part, and you see it selects all of the white, which I want to get rid of, right? I'm on my smile layer, and what I can do, there's a tool up at the top that looks like arrows going in all directions. That's my transform tool. So now I can pinch my fingers in, and this is where I play with size. So I can decide how large that I want it to actually be on the shirt, if I want it to be really small and up in the corner, if I want it to be large in the center. And some of you might want to make it on the back instead of on the front. So those are choices that you have. Up, I'm showing what I want it to look like. And again, we're going to go to the top left, that little white list, and we're going to say share. And we're going to save the image to the camera roll. So your goal here, if you look at my camera roll right now, you're going to be turning in 3 things. The black and white version. This was my old one, sorry. Your color version, just to see it in color. And then you're going to show how you want it to look on your shirt. Now, some of you might want a real picture, like instead of a graphic like that, you would want a picture there. So that's something else you can do. If you want to find a picture online, you can. If you want to draw your own picture in any apps, or use a real picture of you or you with some friends, I can go ahead into Spark Post like that. And I'm going to go back to my posts. And here was my smile. So just for example, I can go ahead and click edit here. Let's say I want to click on this part and get rid of it. I could go to add with the plus and say add image. And there are actually images if you search free photos. I'm going to go ahead and go to my photo library to the picture that I had already picked. And here's my photos here. So I'll scroll down, and let's say that we were talking about the Autodesk logo. I'm just going to go ahead and take the Spark logo for now. Add one. And let's say that that is, I could say move freely. And now I can pinch it to make it smaller or bigger. So let's say that I wanted that on a shirt. So I can just go to my photo library and get the gray shirt I had. There's just different ways of doing the same thing. And again, I'm going to move it freely. And it looks like I need to crop it. So if I go down to the bottom where it says crop and shape, I could go ahead and crop it. And what's really cool here is if you wanted to crop something, you could crop it in different shapes. Like you could crop something in a circle or like a triangle. So if you wanted to make a certain shape with an image, you could crop shapes. It's kind of neat. I'm going to go to freeform. I just want to get the shirt. And I'm going to click done. And then I could just pull the corner to make it big. Try that again. I'm going to go to order. And this is where I can make it go underneath everything else. So you see, you can choose the order of things. So now I'm going to make my shirt pretty big. And then what I'm going to do is click on each item. So I can resize this right now and say I want that to go in the center. And then I could click each of my letters. And this is where, like, let's say you just wanted something a little bit more graphic. Like, let's say you really liked that assignment that we did before with your initials. Let's say your initials are SM. That's where you could take your 2-letter logo, like if you wanted to use that. You know, and let's say I want both of them to be the same color, for instance. Right? So I could say I want a shirt that's something like, and then just like before, you go to your box with your arrow, click solid color, and now I've saved that. And you can turn it in.